Liam, I made the point a moment ago to David Maddox from the Express Online that for Tory Brexiteers, this was about smaller state, lower tax, being competitive, getting more investment into the country, being able to reach out to the world. There was quite a degree of unity within conservative Euroscepticism. I feel that Hunt has completely trashed all of that. And, you know, we hear Annalise Dodds saying Labour wouldn't rejoin the single market, but mirroring it would have more or less the same image. My other big concern, Maddox also said that British people are leaving, British businessmen and women are leaving and going to Lisbon. I've got some stuff here from Italy. So you or I could tomorrow go to Italy. We could, in the north of Italy, get a 30% top rate tax. And in parts of southern Italy, we could negotiate that down to 10% for 10 years. Why is it there's a massive row about reducing taxes for high earners from 45 to 40 when high earners can go almost anywhere in Europe and undercut that?
You're right, there is tax competition going on, and that's kind of how it should be. Of course, we need enough tax to pay for vital public services and so on, but tax shouldn't be a policy goal in and of itself. A tax is a means to an end. And I think the reason, we discussed it on your show last night, I think one reason Truss came unstuck is that I think a lot of the political and media class, and even quite a lot of the public, felt that to scrap the cap on bankers' bonuses and cut the top rate of tax from 45 to 40, albeit 40 isn't a radical move. That's what it was under Blair and Brown. To do so now, when the nights are drawing in, it's getting colder and there's a lot of concern out there about paying your gas bills, that was a bit politically tin-eared, a bit inept. We should do things like that when the country feels more flush and the country doesn't feel flush. But to your broader point, I think to try and get the economy going by raising corporation tax from 19 to 25% into the face of a recession is a really inept policy. And I personally think, given where the economy is, if you'd have kept corporation tax where it was, you'd have ended up with a lot more revenue than we'll get if we raise... Oh, it's now raising from 19 to 25%, because take 6% margin off a lot of small and medium-sized businesses, you'll wipe those businesses out.
Is there a danger now? I mean, in the 70s, I remember growing up with the brain drain. Yeah. That, frankly, regulation, tax around business and personal tax... A lot of my
family left. They went to Canada, Australia, America.
Are we in some danger, given, as you've said, that tax competition is back in Europe?
I think we are. It's not just about tax competition, though it is partly about tax competition. For a lot of young families, it's also about housing. You don't really want to have kids when you're in a shared house with your mates from college or university and you've got one room for you and your life partner. I think the combination of housing and a creepingly high tax rate and the seeming inability of our policy establishment to even countenance that taxes should come down is making us a much, much less attractive place to live and invest. And just think about what's happened today, Nigel. What Kwarteng and Truss were trying to do, albeit the presentation, the timing, the handling of the policies was awful, the policies themselves were, in my view, pretty good, pretty pro-enterprise and pretty pro-growth. They were trying to lower the overall tax burden from where it is, which is the highest since Clem Attlee, the highest in 70 years, back to where it was in 2020. And they're being called by their own backbenchers,
libertarians,
by their own senior backbenchers, libertarian jihadists. Yeah. You've got rumours that Tory MPs are going to defect because they didn't sign up to this stripped-down Hayekian free market view of the world.
All of which says to me, Hunt's back in charge. The parliamentary party itself rejected.
He came last in the leadership contest.
Yeah. I mean, he got 18
and
votes.
Now he's imposing the budget of Rishi Sunak, who just lost the last leadership contest.
And what is clear is the Brexiteers, everything they wanted has now been overturned. There is no prospect of them winning back the leadership of the party for a very, very long time. Are the Brexiteers beaten in the Tory party?
I'm not sure, because Brexit, to all intents and purposes, has happened. You know, obviously there's issues to sort out in Northern Ireland, and you and I have talked about them a lot. But we're outside the single market. We're outside the customs union. You know, have the UK government made the best of those new freedoms? Absolutely not.
And is Hunt going to diverge from EU law? No chance.
Well, I think Hunt got as near as he possibly could within the Tory party to reversing Brexit. He was very much one of the rump of the Conservative parliamentary party that tried to reverse, you know, the biggest act of democracy in British history, namely that June 2016 referendum. So he's hardly the person who's going to reassure
Liam,
people who want to
the
leave
Brexiteers look down and out to me at the moment.